So I was almost right. Not totally, but almost right. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for American Horror Story 1984. This is season 9, episode 4. Yes, I am still hanging in there. And I thought my prediction was partially right about Montana. We started right off. Montana, we start with her, and they start going into her backstory. She met old Ramirez, the Night Stalker. She was teaching a class, and it was given very much John Lord, it's given very much John Travolta, Staying Alive, dancing, but they were listening to Billy Idol. You know I love Billy Idol, child. I love it. And they was getting it, honey. In the midnight hour, more. And they was doing their little nasty little thrusting. I said, oh, they so corny. But they was doing their little thing, and she was teaching the class. And it was all guys. And that's where she met old Ramirez. He was out there looking through the window, and then he came in, and he was all mesmerized. He's like, oh, I just love Billy Idol. So in the midst of that, there was this one child over there, honey. He was one of the children, honey, and he's giving, girl, listen, we're sick of this, honey. We want to hear some Cyndi Lauper, child. I said, you might want to shut up over there, honey. But he's up there wanting to do Loosh Bop, honey. And they was like, no, honey, we're doing In the Midnight Hour, honey. More, honey. And that's what he got. Because that Ramirez was looking over there at him, I said. And he was really giving it to her. They got to argue and then giving each other the finger. I said, you're going to be sorry. Anyway, he took and ended up following that guy into the shop, into the, you know, the dressing rooms, honey, and killed him down. Had him strung up, had his guts hanging out. I said, see? And then she ended up finding the guy, and he's standing behind one of the things. He come out and going to say, did you like your little present that I left for you? And she was all into it. I said, girl, she crazy, just like him. So that's their whole thing. That's the first time, honey. She stood up on the little thing in the man's blood, and he went and ate her box, honey, and then tore her down, honey, and they landed in there in the blood, and just a whole mess. But what ended up actually happening as time went on, Brooke was, remember, she was accused of messing with the best man at the wedding. And the fiance shot and killed the best friend, which was the best man. That was Montana's brother. And she wanted her dead. And she figured out, you know, right away that she could get Ramirez to do her bidding, honey. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll kill her down, honey. Don't even worry about her. So, yeah, I was partially right. The best man was her brother, not the groom. So that's that. Now, okay, so we're over there, and we got Xavier, Mr. Big Dick, and Chet. They took, because remember, Chet's all messed up, so they left Chet at the infirmary, gave him a pair of scissors, some surgical scissors. I said, you gonna let them leave you in there with some surgical scissors? And folks is running around here with hook knives and butcher knives and child, just jacking folks up with oars and child, good luck with them surgical scissors. But you know, Chet's like strapping and strong and stuff. But honey, being cock diesel ain't gonna help you with the little scissors. I'm sorry. Not gonna work, boo-boo. So they talked about the fact that old Mr. Nasty that does the porn producer, had a Cadillac. And they said, we're gonna meet back at the car. Okay? They said, but Big Dick's gonna go over there and get Margaret, and Xavier's gonna go get Birdie. Big Dick runs. He finds Margaret. Margaret's in there. She talking. She ain't leaving. She not gonna leave. She said, "I got a gun. I ain't leaving. Got me this gun, honey." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna call and send help. Send help back." She's like, "The kid's gonna be here and all of that." Talking all her crazy talk. He ran off and left. Xavier finds Birdie up at the kitchen, at the mess hall, honey. And as he's talking to her, she in there making the sandwiches for the kids for the morning, because it's just a couple hours before the morning. And they hear the keys, honey, and here come Jingles. Xavier hides up underneath the table. Child, Jingles coming, she gonna say, "Oh, henchman, you came back," and she's really scared and stuff, but she's telling I never forget a food order. Come on, you look tired. Let me make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and this, that, and the other. And everything was really cool. I think he really liked Birdie. So I was like, "Ooh, good. Birdie gonna be able to make it, okay?" Because Birdie remind me of Throw Mama from the Train, honey. I ain't got no first because it's fat ugly. You remember her. That's who she reminds me of. But I was like, okay, good. He ain't gonna bother her. In the midst of him sitting there eating the sandwich, child, Xavier's up underneath the table. Birdie's sitting on one side, he's sitting on the other. That damn Xavier drops his little flashlight and it makes a noise. He looked down under the table, and I thought for sure when he looked under the table, just like in movie time, nobody would be there. Honey, he looked under the table and Xavier looking at him. And he looking back at him. I said, if y'all don't stop this is just crazy. Like, it's got to the point where I ain't scared of none of this. It's like, it's hilarious. It's gotten to the point where it's like a complete spoof, and it's like hilarious. I just don't like the fact of the setting being in the woods, but I am completely fine with this, and it is funny. This is nothing but hilarity to me, and I'm like, oh my God. So he ends up killing Birdie. He like stabbed Birdie up. I was like, oh damn, Birdie. Then he took and first he knocked Xavier out. He had grabbed Xavier by his hair and yanked him up and then gave him in his back real hard. I saw that was petty. Knocked him out and stuffed him in the oven and closed it up with one of them big ladle spoons. I said, oh, that's petty. Turn the fire on. I said, that is so petty. Petty, petty. So then Jingles leaves. Birdie, hanging on to the last little bit of life she had, she opened the thing and got Xavier out, but she was so stabbed up, and she literally begged him to finish her off and take her out. And he did it. He stabbed her down through her heart and took the butcher knife. She was laying there on the floor. He looked into his reflection on the damn oven, on the glass on the oven, baby, and he seen his face because it was tore up. It was just burnt because he had started burning, and his skin was bubbling and boiling. Ugh, it was horrible. But baby, when he seen his face and he was all disfigured, honey, he was evil. I said, well, they just made another killer, honey, because he took that knife up out of Birdie. I said, he's going to somebody up, honey. They just made another killer, honey, because his little vain self. I said, oh, poor thing. I said, well, they got another killer now, so that's 3. Well, shit. I think it's more than 3. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of killers, right? We got all these double agents. So then Brooke then woke up. She inside of this little shed, like, and she goes and ends up knocking the door on down. It's raggedy. She knocks the door down. She gets out. She run. There's 2 different directions. She run to one direction. This thing comes swooping down at her. She moving. There's all these little traps and stuff. Then she run the other way and gets sucked up in a net, and she's hanging. And then Rita comes out, honey, and Rita gets to telling her, that she ain't really Rita and that she's a scientist, and you're a lab rat, honey. You're a lab rat. If you'd have ran the other way, honey, you would have been, you would have got away. She said, but no, you wouldn't, girl, because I set bear traps up over there. I was like, oh, so she's the one that set up all these traps. So, she told her, you're a lab rat, And I did this all for science. And told her, she says, I need to know if Jingles will kill just for the sake of killing, or is it really the hunt that makes him kill? So I'm going to just serve you right up to him and see if he just kills you, girl. But that's okay, girl. If he does kill you, girl, thank you for your sacrifice. I said, no, she didn't. And she goes on, and she hadn't because she hear him coming. Next thing you know, Montana ends up running down there, and she runs into Brooke. She runs into Brooke, and she heard Montana coming. That's who it was. She wouldn't hear. And she told her, she said, girl, look out for Rita, honey, because Rita's not really Rita. She's like, girl, I know. She says, well, go find something to cut, something sharp to cut me down. She said to her, she said, I promise. She said, I just want this to be over. This night to be over. She said, I promise. It'll all be over soon, honey. So you know her, you know Montana on some old shit, and she going running back to go find old boy so he can do her in. So then she ends up, we end up going over, we see Margaret. Then we get some more backstory on Margaret. We found out Margaret, literally back in 1970, she actually seduced Jingles. Because Jingles is a little slow. You know, he's a little off. She seduced Jingles. He had made this little carved bear for her. He told her he really liked her. Gave her this little wooden carved bear and told her, you know, that he will always protect her. And she had told him how she hated all the other counselors because they would tease him. And they see the two together and say, look at that. Those retards them found each other, honey. Look at them. I said, oh, y'all gonna be sorry. And she ended up, because she kept calling him Benji. And she had literally brainwashed him and seduced him. Honey, listen, we get all that backstory, and we found out Margaret is the one who did the murders. It wasn't him. It wasn't Jingles. Margaret did the murders, and then she set him up, and he ended up getting accosted by the police. And while he was there, you know, he went through all kind of shock treatments and all kind of stuff. She had convinced him basically that he did it. And I was like, oh, she is such a hot mess. Such a hot mess. She ended up, she's sitting in there, and Jingles came in. He had come in, and, you know, they had a little confrontation. They're talking. And then that's when she ends up telling him basically that you just mess it up. You ain't killing the people right, and you done messed up yet again. You know, I was like, oh, she's just nasty, crazy, something, honey. And then he told her, once he figured out, he's like, wait a minute, you don't know how they treated me in there. They did this to me and they did that to me. She's like, oh, whatever, honey. She's like, listen, it's going to be all right this time, honey. And she shot him down, honey. Filled him up with some bullets, honey. He fell on over there. She's going to say, now you can finish what you started like you were supposed to. Taking the rap while I finish off these people, honey. I said, oh, she's crazy. So, shoot, I just skipped the whole scene. I'm sorry, y'all. Down before Montana gets back, she ends up running into Ramirez, brings Ramirez down. Ramirez and Jingles end up there together. Rita is over there. Jingles and Ramirez get to fighting and stabbing and cutting each other, jacking each other up. And Rita and Montana's fighting. Montana ends up knocking Rita out, okay? And then because they fell down this hill and everything. And by the time Montana got back up to the top, Jingles had done took Ramirez, honey, and tore his ass down. Took him and picked him up like Michael Myers and put him right on there was like this real bludgeon piece of tree stump. Took him up there, baby, and gave him, honey, and it went right through the back of his head, came out his mouth, honey. He was giving on the thing, and then he fell off, honey, onto the ground. I said, oh, test, honey. So by the time she got back up there, she see that he's tore up. By this time, old Brooke done got loose and ran about her way because she got herself, they was swinging when they were fighting. She was swinging back and forth for the thing, and she got up to the edge of a tree and was able to get herself out. So she done ran off. Sorry, y'all. I missed that whole thing. But then that's when Jingles left there. Jingles went up to Margaret. He was already wounded, and he's talking to Margaret. Margaret tells him all that, like I told y'all already about the murders and how she swindled him. Then she shot him. Okay, so at this point, you got Chet and Big Dick. They run into Montana. They done ran into Montana. She knows she's on her own now, so she just switched up into her actress thing, honey. And she's sitting up there, and um Big Dick says, I'm gonna go and get Margaret, and then I'm gonna meet y'all at the car. You take Chet with you, and y'all go ahead, because he's wounded. Because after he had left, he went and back and got old Chet. He go back for Margaret. He gets there and he sees Jingles on the floor. He's like, oh my God, you actually did it. You killed him. This, that, and the other. And she's like, mm-hmm. So she's standing there because she had the butcher knife. She's like, he attacked me and this, that, thing, and the other. And when Big Dick got over close enough to her, baby, she ran up on him, honey, and gave him in his stomach, honey, and told him, she was going on confessing that she did it. And he's like looking at her, and then baby, she took him and slit him, honey. He fell over and she cut his ear off, and she was all into her thing, like really having herself a good time. I was like, she's like, ooh, that feels so good, honey. It's like me and Jingles, we were just alike, honey. And she turned around and she looked, baby, Jingles was gone. I said, he gonna get you, baby. He's going to get you. So Jingles is out there, and he's really, really wounded. He runs into Xavier on the bridge. Xavier is really messed up because, he was in that oven. So he's messed up. And he actually saw Jingles and tried to lunge at Jingles. And Jingles was like, I never did it. I never did. I wasn't the one that really did it. And he's sitting over there, and then he kind of passed out for a little bit, and then Jingles was gone. And then Brooke runs into Xavier on the bridge, and he's like, Jingles was just here. She's like, yeah, okay, honey, whatever. And she's like, come on. And they go, and they make it to the car. They get to the car. Margaret is there at the car. Well, everybody's there, except for Jingles. Except for Jingles and Rita, and, Jingles and Rita. That's it. Everybody else gone. So we think. So Margaret lies to them, and because the cars, you hear like this boom, and the car was actually on fire. That was before Brooke and Xavier got over there. That was the car exploding. Margaret just set the damn car on fire, honey. But I said, oh, just a mess. So they're sitting up there. Everybody else is dead. You got Margaret, Chet. You got. She told him that Big Dick got killed by Jingles. So you got Margaret, Chet, Montana, and Brooke. All standing there at the Margaret, Chet, Montana, Brooke, and Xavier. All at the car. We got Rita. They think Montana thinks she killed Rita, but she didn't. We see Rita waking up and coming to, and as she gets up, she looks over and she sees Ramirez's body, honey, and Ramirez is laying there, and he starts to levitate, baby. And listen, this is when it gets into the stuff that I like, honey. His eyes went and was as black as my shirt, honey. I said, oh, you really are connected with Satan. I said, oh, here we go, honey. And he sat up. I said, oh, come on with it, honey. Come on. And baby Rita was looking, and she was like, oh, and he heard her, baby. And he turned around. I said, oh, we're going to get you next. He's going to get you, honey. But the thing is, I don't think Ramirez is going to kill Rita. I don't. And that's where it actually ended, you guys. That's where it ended. So we'll go on next week. But I got to throw this out there what I think. I don't think he's really going to kill Rita because Rita is as deep and dark in her soul as he is. And I think he's going to bring her on over, baby. And she's going to be like, honey, one of the devil's disciples, honey. And can you imagine Rita all hooked up with the devil? Because she's evil. She is evil. She is, because that's what Brooke told her. You just as much of a killer as Jingles. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. She's growing into it, you know. So that's out. Yeah, we into the part I like now. Good versus evil. Let's go, honey. I said, oh my gosh. So anyway, that's what's going down in the woods at AHS 1984. I'll see y'all next week. Later.